on Kiwi. Time now to cycle on the teeth of tech, talk high-tech business with Paul Brislen, twitter.com/Paul Brislen, joining us via live Skype video on the iPad this morning. Morning, Paul.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Very, very good. Now, it's been a week of announcements all over the place. We will be talking about those Facebook changes soon, but first up, what everyone seems to be talking about at the moment is the new Kindle Fire by Amazon.
That's right. So Amazon announced 4 new Kindles. Kindles are their book readers, of course, that allow you to download ebooks online. But the Fire goes beyond that, doesn't it? And allows you to consume media. So we're talking about television, video, in full streaming colour, and of course, in the spirit of the World Wide Web, it's only available in America.
Yeah, great. Because I went onto the website yesterday thinking, might go get their $79 basic version, the sort of the original Kindle.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. And I thought, and I got right through to the checkout and said, hang on.
You're a dirty foreigner.
Yeah, you're a dirty foreigner. Maybe you want to choose the international version. I thought, okay, well, maybe that might be slightly more expensive. Ended up being like 190 New Zealand dollars or something. I was like, no, that's not what I was after.
This is unacceptable. Oh, no, it's ridiculous, isn't it? So, buyusa.com is one of the websites that I've never tried, but I know people who have used to buy things in the US, have them shipped to an address and then shipped on to you here in New Zealand.
Okay.
And I understand one of the big courier firms here in New Zealand is setting up a US address because they see a need in the market for this kind of thing. I mean, it's quite ridiculous that we have this kind of nonsense going on.
Indeed. But so the Kindle Fire, now it's it's basically their Android tablet, isn't it?
Well, it is and it isn't. So the reason it's so cheap, and it is still quite cheap compared with the likes of the iPad or the Android, the Galaxy Tab, is because it is really a stripped-down version. It's basically just a web browser with a really nice screen on it. So it's ideal for, as we say, downloading books, watching television or movies. It's a personal media consumption device. And that, to me, I see this phrase bandied around a lot, the iPad killer.
Yeah.
And it's not intended to replace an iPad. It's not intended to replace your computer. It's an additional device. So, to my way of thinking, the mobile worker or media savvy folk like ourselves, the new device is a cell phone, which is a smartphone. Android, Apple, something like that, possibly Windows, and we'll get onto that in a minute. The other one is an iPad for with a good quality keyboard because it's far more usable as a business tool with a keypad.
Yeah.
And I've got a Zag shell for mine, which protects the cover and then becomes a keyboard all at the same time. And the Droids have the similar kind of thing. And then a Kindle reader of some kind for documents, for books. It's got a really long lifespan, battery-wise, and a great opportunity to minimise all the junk that I carry around in my bag.
Yeah, okay.
It's perfect.
Yeah, so that would be your technology ecosphere or something. That would be your...
My personal area network,
hand.
Yeah. 3 devices. Which allow me to do my work and live on the internet as I do every day anyway. So for me, those are the 3, and I'd dump everything else. I'd carry it all around with me.
Well, like you, I mean, I'm enjoying sort of more freedom from a device that isn't as constrained as perhaps what this Kindle Fire is going to be. It sounds really streamlined, like you're going to be boxed into doing certain things on the Kindle Fire. Whereas say with the iPad or what I have here, the Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1, it basically gives you the freedom. It gives you the freedom, to download all the kind of apps that you might want to use right across the board. And yesterday, I, like yourself, I've gotten an add-on. Which is a keyboard, which basically then means it plugs in onto the top there. It replaces my netbook that I was using for about the past couple of years to do my email, web browsing, research, and that kind of stuff. It means I can leave the netbook doing other things at home while I take the tab out on the road with the keyboard. So I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah. And there are a lot of people who mock the idea of, so you've got a keyboard for your iPad. Congratulations, you've got a laptop. Well, you have. You have, because the beauty of the iPad and the Galaxy Tab is the same. It's all the other stuff. It's access to the App Store. It's the instant on, instant off. It's lightweight, and it's price. You know, when I started in the new job, I was going to get a new laptop, and they budgeted $2,500–3,000 for a laptop, and I said, can I spend half that and have an iPad, thanks, and a keyboard? And in the end, I spent quite a bit less than that. I think it was about $1,000 or $1,100 all up. And it is far more useful for me. It uses the same charger as my phone, so I carry a charger with me everywhere. That's very useful. I go out to meetings in the afternoon, and about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Apple users will be familiar with that sense of panic that they have, that they've got 22% of their battery life left on their phone. Well, I carry the charge with me at all times, and you know, I rent it out for no more than $500 an hour, and it's really quite a good money in it. But you know, it's ideal. It's minimising what I carry around and maximising my ability to work. So you know, it's a win for me.
And just because you do have the keyboard doesn't mean that you're going to take the keyboard everywhere with you. I mean, the freedom is that the keyboard stays on the desk, and then if you're off to a meeting or whatever, or down to the cafe or whatever, you whip out the tab out of the top.
And off you go.
Exactly, easy as.
It's brilliant. It is. It's you know, and this shell one that I've got that acts as a cover as well. Does double duty because it protects it from the vagaries of going through airport security check-in and having to dump it in a tray, and you know, generally speaking, it does a good job of being a cover as well as a keyboard. So, and Zag, I've got to recommend them. They are insanely customer-centric. So I broke one of the letters off and mentioned it on Twitter, and within minutes I had a flurry of contacts from them. We'll send you a new letter S. It's okay. We'll sort you out. I said, look, I'm in New Zealand. You know, it's going to cost you. No, it's all free. It's all free. We'll send it to you. Fair enough, they sent me a letter S, and then followed up to make sure I was happy with my letter S. So they're very good, very cool.
All right. Well, last night on Google Plus, I said that. This had really been the week of keyboards for me, and the reason why I say that, obviously getting that keyboard for the Galaxy Tab, but also last night I got the new update to the Windows Phone 7, updating it to 7.5, or codename Mango.
Mango, big and fruity.
Big and fruity. Well, funnily enough, the update wasn't available automatically for me. I think iOS users are just used to when there's an update, it's available to everyone at the same time. But Microsoft are rolling it out, and it wasn't available for me. So I had to do a weird trick. You plug it into your computer, to the Zune software, you push update, and then as soon as it goes, you wait for about one or 2 seconds, and then you whip out your Ethernet cord, so you turn off the internet. This took me about 50 tries because I really wanted this update. And then it eventually said, "Oh, look, there's an update for you. Plug the cord back in and then update it." And I don't know.
And away you went.
And away it went.
Bloody marvellous.
But I tell you what,
so what does it give you?
Well, it gives you. I mean, it makes the operating system a whole lot snappier. Things seem to be just a whole lot faster switching between apps. It gives you kind of like faux multitasking. It's not real multitasking, but basically. If you long press the back button, it will show you the apps that you've had previously open, and then you can go and flick to them, and then it will kind of reactivate them. They're not actually running in the background, but
that's probably good because it uses less battery life, but still gives you the experience of being able to say, "Oh, what was I just doing? Oh, yes, here it is." And off you go. That's quite cute. I like that.
The People Hub, where you can go and see all your contacts and whatnot, has been updated. It now incorporates your Twitter streams, your Facebook streams from all the people in your contacts, and you can see that all in one handy window. I actually like that.
That's very cool.
I can see myself using that more than a separate Twitter app. It also, the keyboard, as I say, the keyboard has been updated, which I think was really needed. There were some really frustrating things to the touch keyboard, and that has now been made more like an Android or an iOS keyboard. Makes a whole lot more sense. Live tiles. So on the front of Windows Phone 7, you've got these lovely square blocks where you can...
Tiles, I like those.
Yeah, where you pull in apps and you can make them on your home screen. Well, now it's available to the developers to make those tiles more live, and so they can update and do stuff. Yeah, so let's say with my Foursquare tile, it has the current leaderboard of who's winning on Foursquare. Not that that's very important.
Social media junkie, you. Yes.
And it's got apparently about 500 new things and improvements. So
right.
it really is a journey of discovery by figuring out what is brand new. But it's nice.
That'll keep you occupied till the next one comes out.
Yeah, it's definitely a real contender. And with the new Nokia Windows Phone 7 phones coming out, I think we're going to really start seeing a good competition on our hands between the, Android and iOS and Windows.
Well, that's right. Yeah, I saw the dwarfed, isolated Nokia phone. Was it the N8 that they introduced just before they cancelled their own OS? Which one is it?
I think it's the N8 or N9. N9.
Yeah, N9 it could have been. Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous phone. Very similar to the Samsung Galaxy S2. Huge screen, acreage, miles and miles of screen, and a really beautiful look to it. And I think that running something like Windows or Android could well be the way of saving Nokia's bacon, because at the moment they're still laying off staff. Yeah. They've just fired another 3,000, I think, which is just astonishing. The
only frustrating thing found with this update is that they have enabled Wi-Fi hotspots or tethering on the Windows Phone 7 now, but it's still carrier dependent. And I think this was originally a Vodafone phone, and Vodafone have obviously decided that you cannot use this for tethering, which is really annoying. Yeah.
Because they immediately allowed tethering on the iPhone when that was launched, and on the Androids it's been available all the way along. So I wonder why this one in particular. We might have a word with them, see if they've just forgotten to flip a switch somewhere.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That
would be very nice. Right, let's move on to the Facebook changes. There's well, the changes that are actually going to be happening, because
that's right.
Yeah, not all of it's rolled out yet.
No. So Facebook is introducing new changes to its interface. There's a lot of whinging, particularly on Facebook, about Facebook. And I have no sympathy for that whatsoever. It's a free app, just get on. If you want to use it, use it. If you don't. But what really bugs me is that there's yet more trouble with their privacy settings. And this time it appears they're calling it a bug now, but it sounds very feature-like to me. That it would be continuing to track your online browsing habits even when Facebook is switched off, which means that they build up a nice little juicy record of where you've been and what you've been up to, which they can then use to target advertising at you, sell your demographic data to advertisers, and generally speaking, make money off you. So to me, this is yet more proof that Facebook is in fact evil and should be switched off at all costs. It gets more and more difficult to switch it off as it gets more and more integrated in the social fabric.
Exactly.
And I was talking to a teenager the other day, my niece, who said, I'd love to switch it off, but I can't, because then I wouldn't get invited to any party, because everything is organised through Facebook. So we just have to make sure that she's as locked down as she can be. And even she's aware now that there are issues with this, and that's not bad. If you can convince a teenager to be concerned about something as stupid as privacy, then you've really gone a long way. And my feeling is that I see this meme that's running around the internet at the moment. If you're not paying for it, you're not the customer, you're the product. And in Facebook, that's absolutely true. Facebook makes money from selling your information to advertisers. Never forget that. That's the business model. And that really does colour everything they do. And, for some of us, it's just a step too far.
It's a really good point. And that is also a good point about being harder and harder to turn off. I mean, I was thinking about, once again, maybe closing my Facebook account, but then I thought, well, then I wouldn't have the page for the radio show, and I couldn't use that as the vehicle to promote. So I don't know, it's so hard now to pull the cord.
Well, it is, and I tried the other day, but there are people who I only stay in contact with through Facebook, because they absolutely don't seem to realise that the rest of the internet is there. So that's quite alarming, and that makes it very difficult for me to be able to say, no, look, I've had enough of this, and I'll get out. Quite difficult.
All right, well, you can continue the discussion with Paul over on Twitter, twitter.com/Paul Brislen, and we'll chat again next week. Thanks very much, Paul.
Sounds good. No worries.